Good morning, Paige here with m.a.b.e.l, and in the video you're about to watch, I am going to show you how to zhuzh up your jeans or a jean jacket or even a simple little canvas tote that might need some love. And I'm going to show you how to do it using visible mending techniques and patches from vintage cutter quilts. So enjoy! So I wanted to show you an example of the type of patching we will do. This is on a pair of my old jeans, and as opposed to taking off the pocket and replacing it with a new pocket, I decided just to blanket stitch the patch over the pocket. I did not sew through the pocket and the back of the jeans, so the pocket is still serviceable. So here is my daughter's jean jacket, and I wanted to do something fun with that, and so I've got a few patches that we'll be able to put on the back. I've already attached this first one. The second one, you can see though, there's a little bit of damage, so what I want to do is lightly repair the damage and then attach the entire patch once the damage is repaired to the back of the jean jacket. So I'm going to take these pins out, and we are going to use sashiko mending to fix these little damaged pieces. Sashiko stitching is just a running stitch, and there really are no rules for mending purposes. I think for decorative sashiko there are some best practices that you adhere to, but for just fixing up these little bits of damage, I'm going to say that there are no rules. So I am going to mend them with the white thread because that will complement the orange where there's damage. I've got my little handy dandy Snips from Cohana, and I will be using the shorter of the two needles. If I can get this out. There we go. And I'm going to show you a way that I make a quilting knot. I lay the thread over the needle. I press down on it with my pointer finger. I wrap 2 times, and then I pull my needle through, and there I've got a knot. We are not we are just going to mend the patch, not the patch with the jeans. And basically I just want to do some running stitches. Back and forth. When I'm doing this sashiko stitching, I'm not trying to completely cover the damaged bits. They're not quite holes, it's only where the fabric has frayed, and my intention is to just secure the fabric so that it doesn't fray further. I'm not doing a satin stitch or a darning stitch, I'm just securing the fabric. You may notice that my stitch lengths are not uniform. If you're doing decorative sashiko, I think stitch length is very important, but for mending purposes, do what you need to do to make it work for you. So in this case, my stitch lengths are not uniform. There. All right, so that is, I think, just fine, and I'm going to repin it to my jean jacket. And the reason I'm doing this is so that it doesn't shift as I'm doing the blanket stitch around. So I'm just going to stick a few pins in here so it's more or less stable, and then I'm going to use some gold. Again, I'm going to make my quilter's knot. I start my blanket stitch at the top of where and then what I like about using these hexies, these grandmother flower garden hexies, is there's typically a row of hand stitching that's fairly uniform, and I use that as a guideline, and I press my needle, punch my needle into that guideline, and then I bring the working thread around the back of the needle. And then when you get the thread all the way through, it creates that little, it captures the edge of your fabric piece. So same thing there. You can see it just captures really nicely the edge of the fabric. That will keep the piece from fraying, and it's a nice strong stitch for thicker fabrics. Then I always try to get one at the where the hexagons meet in the middle and at the point, just to be neat. And just always remember that the thread goes behind the needle. Because it's basically making a smaller knot. I realize now that while I like how this thread complements, it's probably not the best color to see any sort of contrast. And I'm doing my stitches. Once you get in the groove, you'll notice that your stitches really sort of space themselves, but again, I do want to get one at the top of the point. So when you get to the end of your thread, what I like to do is make a knot by going into the stitch that you just made. There's your knot, and then you can bury your stitch between the jean jacket and the quilt. You can pull it up into the quilt patch and then just snip really closely, and it's buried. So you do not see the tail, and then you just rethread your needle and start again. And to pick up where you left off, come in on the left of the stitch you just made. And so there's that thread, or the pesky tail. Scooch it in there. You're back in business. So I've done the blanket stitch around the entire circumference of the hexie flower. On that last stitch, I will make a knot into the stitch, and I will bury the thread between the patch and the jean jacket, and just trying to wedge it in there so it doesn't show up on the reverse of the jean jacket side. And then I will snip it just really close to the surface so that the thread is buried. So there we go. The second patch is on. The pins are out. And now I will do the same thing for the third. And I will do the blanket stitch, the same blanket stitch around this hexie as I did the second one. So there you have it, 3 patches on the back of a jean jacket. Did not take that long at all, in a really simple blanket stitch with some sashiko stitching to hold in place any of the damaged bits. Thanks so much for watching that video, and I hope you do give blanket stitch on quilt patches a try. It's a great way to zhuzh up some plain old jeans or a canvas tote. I want to talk to you about the patch kit. As I explained in the beginning, the patch kit is made up of vintage quilt scraps, typically hexagons in the grandmother's flower garden. I do have some butterflies I'll be adding. You'll also get 2 sashiko needles, and then I will pick 2 coordinating threads. So that will be an entire patch kit available in the description below through my website. You will also have noticed throughout the project, I was using my Cohana mini snips to cut my threads. I love these snips. They are so useful. They're small enough to travel on the plane. They are really, really adorable, but they work really well. They come in with their own leather sheath, and they just have a great spring action and work really well. They are available in 5 different colors. The tassel is the indicator of the color, so green, blue, yellow, and pink and gray are their typical ones, but they do have a sakura or cherry blossom color that comes out every spring. This is 2024 Sakura collection, and I have a few of those too. The Cohana mini snips are available on my website in the description below. So thank you so much for watching, and if you go ahead and put some patches on your clothing, tag me and send me some pictures. I'd love to see your work. If you enjoyed this content, hit like and subscribe and come back for more.